Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Dun, dun, dun. Just want to make sure the YouTube page is running here, so let's see what we got. Hello, everyone. Yeah, welcome. Perfect. All right, so the Duke of Berkey, I think, unfortunately, he, I don't know whether he lost his duchy or he got a new one, but made the transit across the wet coast, so he's living on the same side of the continent as me now. But we're back in the saddle, and he and I are here to help you on your way for our free video here today. So thank you so much for helping me out here today, Kevin. I don't know whether he wants to come on and say hi to the gang or just give us a bling, but always know he's in the background helping us immensely. All right, so as I said, last Friday, I guess, was the last time we had a market commentary, daily brief, all that kind of stuff. Don't think I did a free one. I took the day off kind of idea. But here we are, 30th of December. You missed your tax loss selling deadline if you were going to sell some stock, options, and I don't know, cryptocurrencies, commodities, they all have one-day settlements, so probably a little bit more in that arena to go here, but on balance, most of the tax loss selling is done. Of course, did a big broiler chicken show yesterday on crypto, talking lots about potential bottoms coming in across the board, so we don't really need to go into too much detail about crypto here today. But on balance, you know, I like to start off a conversation with you guys, free videos. What are we sort of looking at in the market? You know, I was actually interested, like now I've got the spot US dollar contract. We could also put on the US dollar index that's created by TradingView, and I was kind of like, wow, there's some weird data coming through this, but in a weird sort of way, maybe TradingView gave us a heads up. You notice it was falling out of bed here past couple days. I'm not quite sure how to interpret that data print. But our weekly sort of analysis levels we were watching, and then we talked a little bit about AB equals CD. Sure looks like that's all playing out to fruition here as the US dollar tanks. But, you know, the interesting thing is the US dollar data is actually relatively okay. So in a weird sort of way, I kind of think what's happening here is the Fed has basically said we are not raising interest rates, and the market has interpreted that as, all right, inflation, here we go. Let's start cranking things. So the bonds, they're starting to fall out of bed, and I still like this bond short that I have. But in a weird sort of way, that actually helps the gold. So we actually, I'm seeing, and it might be sort of like, oh boy, the Fed might fall behind the curve. Inflation might get out of control here again. They said that they're not going to raise interest rates. So where the hell should we go park our money? Why don't we go park our money into the yellow stuff? So gold's catching a bit of a bid. But I was curious recently, like, why is the Japanese yen acting the way that it is? And sure enough, wow, look at the Japanese yen actually reverse violently here. Still don't really like this gapping action, and I wonder whether we have to come back down here at some point in the future. But nonetheless, you can see how the yen's trying to break out here. So when we do our risk on, risk off, there is that yen. Wow, look at that move. Interesting, you know, I put the words right over where the market is. So interesting to see. I've been pondering this idea. Did they rally the stock market, and I suppose oil to a certain degree, as a risk on proxy? Did they rally that into that 1 year anniversary, and then we see the whole damn market reverse and head the other direction coming out of that 1 year anniversary? In a weird sort of way, you know, the yen now, double bottoms within double bottoms, the gold leading the charge, never did look back. Now the bonds, maybe the bonds are actually going to try and find some sort of footing here. It's a little bit early for us to call like buy signals on bonds. No W's here yet. A little bit early for me to call sell signals on stocks and oil just yet. But I got to tell you, that's pretty damn impressive price action coming out of the yen. And of course the gold, it's too late to be a buyer of your gold up here. You should have been buying down in here. And we've been talking about that, right? The biggest gold stock in the world, reload zones against 38.2s of bigger ranges. Was she going to break this downtrend line and then start Wing? And oh boy, here we go. Working our way back up. You can see reload short zones up top here. So my hunch is stocks like Barrick want to go up and fill in their gaps and test reload zone tops or ranges up top here. Crazy Newmont, of course, getting all pissed off losing their biggest gold stock in the world title. All right, well, if we can't do it by mining gold, let's just go buy our own stock back in the marketplace, and we will force the market to give us the biggest gold stock market cap title back. And sure enough, there goes Newmont. This in itself, though, is an extremely powerful signal about the entire gold market. It'll be really interesting to see how Newmont acts up against these old highs. You can see the AB equals CD will take us to new highs. My hunch is that on this sort of event, that will be sort of the end of our gold market seasonal rally window. My hunch is too, Barrick works its way up into these kind of windows. And, I do have one smaller gold stock on the books, which I'm using as a proxy for this rally. And it was just interesting. We were looking at the charts from a seasonal perspective. This is last December. There is the rally into the end of the year. Basically, the market topped literally the first week of January and then spent the rest of the year backing off. And I got a funny feeling that's what we're seeing here. You can see the bottom, December rally. My hunch is probably the peak in this particular stock. You see reload zones coming in here. You see the top of value. It's probably going to top out just like Newmont and Barrick all up top there at a very technically appropriate level. Now, if we're really lucky, mind you, the buy signal actually comes in following the event. But if we're really lucky, we get a nice big breakout through this existing trend line. And then if we get a W on the other side of that trend line, oh boy, all hell is going to break loose. If I'm lucky, because I went and bought this off of the bottom, we rally up top here. We consolidate nicely. We're nowhere near my entry, and I'm just laughing. But the problem here is, can I go in and buy this kind of asset right in here? And I don't think the answer is yes. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Moving on. And yeah, I know I'm hearing blinks. I have no idea how long I'm jibber jabbering, but I have a feeling I'm probably talking too much here today. Stock market, and actually I was talking with site members about 1 year anniversaries, and I sold my put options as insurance to offset capital gains, so it really was not that big of a deal. But I'm a little pissed off at myself that I didn't go grab those puts and just roll the insurance plan out. But nonetheless, maybe we're starting to get like empire tops here in the risk on assets. You can see that empire formation. You can see the oil is now back up against those phony baloney Saudi Arabia drone attack gap higher highs. So all the bulls that bought into here, they're finally getting released up in here. And gee whiz, there's a big doji right up top of range here. I'm feeling like that risk on trade is getting awfully old in the tooth. So be careful here. Maybe that's what yen and gold are anticipating, and the bonds to a certain degree trying to bottom here. But I still, I don't like the bond market. The bond market scares me immensely here. I've got my TRI SOF puts. We did make new lows here this morning. I don't really want to touch this. But as I've said repeatedly to you guys, could we get a counter trend rally back up here on the bonds here over the short term? I think so. Wouldn't be shocking, especially if the yen and the gold press higher here. But at the same time too, and in a weird sort of way, this gold still has this big M up here, so call me skeptical. I want to see breakouts to new highs here for me to get bullish, and really I ain't got no reason to be bullish of bonds right here at all. So we'll see how it goes. individual stocks, I've been talking to you guys recently about names that I've wanted to be buyer. In fact, I even put out a nice little polite tweet. Because remember, guys, I buy stuff in the market because I want to make money off of it from a pure capital gains perspective. And I even put out a tweet today. I said, you know, in the spirit of sharing, these are a few names that I'm really interested in. You know, a couple of them happen to be biotech stocks. Yeah, they're Canadian, but this one trades down in the States. This is a blockchain stock. Blockchain? What the fuck's a blockchain? So, you know, in a weird sort of way, we got a couple healthcare related names. You know how crazy these names can go. We got a blockchain stock, and man, I love the story on this stock. Go and listen to that interview I shared a week or two ago. It's just perfect. I want to just buy this thing and forget about it. And then this Pine Tree Capital, it's kind of a funny one. I've got the OTC stock symbol because a lot of Americans watch this, and I want to buy it. I want to buy it. I know you got your goddamn TSE stocks, but I can't buy those, so give me the US symbol. So I just happen to have that on here, but it is a Canadian company. It trades on the Canadian exchange. And it's a great sort of money manager proxy in the space, and this thing used to be all the rage back in the 2006, 2007 commodity bull market, and they owned a huge basket of commodity stocks, and it just got absolutely destroyed over the past 10 years. Go for fun. Pull up a weekly price chart of this Pine Tree Capital, and someone post on the YouTube page what the all-time high on this thing was. It's ridiculous. So is it a kind of situation? You can see it sitting at $1 here. Just the highs from back in the summer were a couple bucks. Could I get a nice little rally to $2? Buy when it snows, sell when it goes. Get myself a free position here indefinitely about it from my registered account. Sure, why not? Seems perfectly logical. And of course, you know, good old W's, you know, Brian and his W's. So, you know, it's interesting looking at this damn SARX. Look at that damn thing go. I got to tell you, man, this is one hell of a good looking stock. The problem, this is like the gold stocks though, right? Can you buy this here now? I don't think so. You know, try not to chase. If anything, what I would strongly suggest, draw your reload zones, and notice reload zones line up against these lows. So I went and bought a little bit off of the double bottom because, you know, Brian and his W's. I love that. And I will add if we get any kind of pullbacks into reload zones. Love the look of this stock. But my hunch is these SOBs are going to take it up into 50% levels here before they're, you know, this thing, it's on a tear here. And if you actually look at the, I haven't got enough time. Well, let's move on. Anyway, long and short of it here, good looking stocks. I can't go and chase this one here. I've got my bids down below, and I just have to be patient and disciplined. And if I miss it, I miss it. I might, just because, mind you, it's an expensive stock. I'm uncomfortable with the idea. But if we do get this breakout through the top, I might just go pick up a little bit of this, because this is going to turn into a massive weekly W. But I am very interested. Got lots of bids working around the $4 area on this thing. And there's a bunch of stocks like what I showed you here. I mean, I'm in a buying mood, man. There's a lot of stocks that I'm very, very interested in here. And I like the approach here. You know, a couple pharma names, new products, VCIM, rollbacks, the shares stock for directors, you know, shares for debt, blah, 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 blah. You know, blockchain, right? And a nice sort of almost like a mutual fund within the junior mining space. Love it. Mind you, these guys are billing themselves as a tech fund now. So I got a funny feeling that they got destroyed in resources, so they can't market themselves as a resource fund because nobody will buy the stock. So, hey, no, we invest in technology. And if anything, that's perfect, right? I wouldn't even be surprised if these guys own a little bit of this SRAX. So, anyway, some names for you to consider. Again, I don't care if you don't buy these things. I'm buying them because I want to make money trading my own accounts. You know, what's there to say about crypto in general? A lot of this sort of crypto names that we were doing, nanny nibbles, tax loss, selling, buying in the stock market, they're slowly working away. You know, like I was trying to buy some, and actually I have been buying some of this HUT right? Probably a really good example where I'm just working my bids, and you can see they're slowly bringing it down. Still got one more bid here to get filled on. There's not really any big hurry. I noticed that that riot broke to new lows. I bought some calls on this thing, but you know, there's not a hell of a lot to get excited about here on these sort of broader proxy names. So I'm not really in a big hurry accumulating. That's sort of the way that I look at this. And like I said, I don't have any buy signals here, so there's not really a heck of a lot for a guy like me to do. I did pick up some calls, and I think there's a trade there, but there's no hurry. So, you know, where was I going with all that? We look at Bitcoin, same sort of thing. And, you know, this is a broken record, and I spent a lot of time in that video yesterday going, you know, I'm sorry, guys. I want to give you a new message. I want to tell you everything's rosy, but it just isn't right now. You got to cool your jets. And I think that's basically stayed the same. And if anything, what I'm a little concerned about here is this looks very fractally. Notice that this rally off of the lows just did nothing more than rally right back into no. They did it again. No, get your ass out of there. And they did it again. No, get your ass out of there. And of course, these are V bottoms, so at some point we should expect them to be tested. So look out. Oh boy, that's looking very Emmy here. You know, I was interested in playing long here. Even interested in playing long here. Made a little bit of money. Account balance went up, so I can't complain. But, oh boy, this looks dangerous now. Be careful, everyone. Cool your jets. Go slowly. There's no hurry. And also, too, yesterday I kind of did a video where I was kind of like, you know, in that broiler chickens, I was kind of like, I got a funny feeling there's one more FU to come here. So be careful. And really, that message hasn't changed, right? You can maybe dollar cost averaging at or below reload zones, but that's about the best that we can do right now. I do like individual stories, and we spent some time talking about some individual names that are Wing out. And I also like this, you know, Ethereum loves to bottom into calendar year ends. I do find it interesting that Ethereum Classic has actually put out sort of software that where they can actually interact with Ethereum proper again. So that might be one reason for you to take an interesting look at Ethereum Classic. I do like the fact that if you come in against these lows, you have a relatively finite risk window. You can define what your risk is. That's the whole point of technical analysis. You know, go slowly in this space. One thing I did notice we were looking at this morning, I put out a tweet yesterday that I was actually really getting encouraged by what I was seeing out of Ethereum proper itself, reload zones, and actually if we look at things like, where should we do this one? We'll just keep it simple. Let's do it off of the Binance Right kind of thing. You know, bottom end of the range. You can see nice little weekly inside bar potentially firing here. Nothing really off the weekly charts to get too excited about. Remember, we have the stamp weekly chart that we follow, blah, blah, blah. But I did see off of the dailies, things are kind of firming up here a bit. Again, you know, trade location. We're back down the bottom end of the range. You can see bottom of value. So you're not coming in and you're not chasing some sort of crazy blow off top. Reload zones, right? Notice the confirmed bullish divergence here. That's a good sign. Bullish divergence in RSI, even better sign. And we also have things like trend lines are being broken. You know, steep trend lines, they're gone. But even trend lines like yay and nay, right, these kind of things, you can see there's a bit of a window developing in here. If we do things like 50% rules going back up top, we're not going to ask for new highs. We're just going to simply ask, can I have a 50% retracement? Something along those lines. Can we see a rally up into this area going forward? I think so. You know, you can see wicks and tails like to be eaten. na levels, well, that's up into here. So we've got location, we've got divergence. All we now need is some sort of structure. And it was kind of interesting. We zoomed in, and I put a tweet out to this effect yesterday. You can see the bottom trying to form. If we could get just a nice polite W down in here, that would be awesome. But it hasn't come in yet, so keep your eyes peeled. And of course, perfect seasonality story. Ethereum loves to bottom into year end. You know, this one came in the middle of December. All right, well, that's pretty close. I like the idea that we're a heck of a lot closer to a top, a bottom, than we are a top. And I actually think there's some interesting stories out there. Okay, I've been talking way too much today, but I hope you got some good value out of the information I imparted. You know, by all means, if you have the desire to actually approach trading from a professional perspective and build trading plans and clearly vet your setups and build all the ancillary tools, journals, logs, spreadsheets, mistake finders, demon finders, you know, and now Sjord with his incredible technical analysis engine that identifies reload zones, identifies W's, identifies divergences. Oh my God, this engine Sjord's built is just incredible. Maybe consider joining us here at TRI, whether it be just building screeners that identify all these beautiful setups as they come in, or whether it be, you know, actually getting educated on how professionals approach running small businesses for trading with the actual desire to make money from trading. Consider our site, consider our services, and of course, PMA for the win. We are huge advocates of positive mental attitude, and we all, you know, it's a mantra around TRI, we all work together, because when we work together, we actually become far better traders. 1 + 1 = 3. All right, everybody, have yourselves a great afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. All the best, and bye for now.